What's up, fellas? In today's video, we're going to be talking about the Miami Heat, a team that made the finals last year and now has one of the worst records in the Eastern Conference. And there's a lot of reasons for the overall record to this point, but I'm starting to get concerned about the possibility that the Heat are just not very good this season. They're not going to be able to come back from the hole that they put themselves in the beginning of the year for a variety of different reasons. You know, it's not all their fault that their record is as bad as it is, but we're just going to kind of talk about the overall situation of the Miami Heat in the first video of today. But quickly, before we get started, if you're new here, what's up? My name is Tucker. I upload NBA content twice a day, every single day on this channel. So if you're looking for consistent NBA content, this is a great place to be. If you're enjoying the videos, you can leave a like rating on them. It doesn't take very long at all. It helps me out a ton because it helps get the video out to more people on YouTube. And if you want to hang out with me outside of these videos, there's a Linktree link in the description that has every single one of my social medias in it. With those things said, let's talk about the Miami Heat. So they are fresh off of a loss to the Washington Wizards without Russell Westbrook playing, which, you know, I can't relate to at all. My teams never lose to the Washington Wizards. But still, it's not a great look, right? And for a good part of the early season, the struggles that the Heat were having had to do with their personnel and just not having people available for games. But now that we've kind of gotten a little bit of time, not a ton of time, but a little bit of time now with their full complement of players, the more and more I look at this roster, the less and less I'm convinced that they're really going to be all that notable of a team this year. I'm not necessarily concerned that they're like going to miss the playoffs completely, despite the fact that they have the third worst record in the East right now, because there are teams above them like the Knicks and the Cavs that you would imagine they will eventually be ahead of in the standings. But that doesn't mean that it's not concerning. And when you look at the roster as a whole, there's a lot of different issues. Again, even when fully healthy and when everybody's available, which has been an issue to this point. And if you want to just say, oh, it's rust, they'll figure it out, it's a fine argument to make. But really, when you look at the roster, like, you know, Jimmy Butler's been fine. I mean, Tyler Herro's a good young player. I love Bam Adebayo. What else do they have going for them? I mean, Duncan Robinson's fine. There's just not a whole lot else here. And it's weird because you're looking at it, you're like, okay, but they just made the finals. And like, what did they really lose? Well, they lost Jay Crowder, who I think is actually a more significant piece than people gave him credit for, because, you know, before they made the trade that they got Jay Crowder, you know, they were like at the 5th seed in the East as they were throughout the whole season. Then they made the trade. They only played like 10 games with Crowder before the season got suspended. Then they get to the postseason. They're really, really good. And I'm not saying it's all just because of Jay Crowder, but what I am saying is that they just don't have that same level of versatility, especially defensively, that they had last year. They don't have that guy that they can just play at the 4 spot and guard and can shoot. And it's causing them issues defensively. And then offensively, like they just don't have it. You know, like when you watch them play, like you watch the Wizards game and you're sitting there thinking like the Wizards are one of the worst defensive teams in the league. And these guys can't score, you know, 110 points. And I think part of it is rust. Certainly there's guys trying to come back and get back in the rhythm of basketball, but also just, I don't know that the personnel is all that great. I think that it's possible they were in such a good rhythm in the bubble and they were playing so well offensively. And I don't know if they're going to be able to find that again. And like when you really look at it, unless Tyler Herro is like a future all-star caliber guy, there's no real reason for them to wait around and hope that they get better over the next couple of years, because there's actually not a ton of upside on this roster outside of Herro, because Bam is really, really good. I'm not sure how he's supposed to get all that much better from here. So even though he is a younger player, I'm not sure that there's an incredible amount of upside there with Bam. He's already such an incredible player. And then, you know, Duncan Robinson's like 26. He's going to be a really good shooter. And then there's Tyler Herro. And it's like, unless, like I said, Tyler Herro is going to be some all-star caliber guy, there's no reason for them to wait around and play this patiently, in my opinion. So basically the point that I'm making here is like the Heat aren't very good right now, and they might as well try and fix that, because for the longest time it was, 2021 free agency, that's when they'll make their change. That's what, you know, they'll go and make their big move and go and get somebody, and they can still bring in some pieces. But if they have an opportunity to make a Bradley Beal trade, I think they need to make it. And, you know, the part of that just comes from the concern that I have for this team this year, that they just don't have it. And whatever they tapped into last year to make the finals and go on this great run, you know, it's just not there right now. And maybe they'll turn it around. You know, maybe they'll get significantly better defensively. Their offensive defensive rating stuff is really, really rough. But again, I mean, they miss so many guys for so many games. I mean, Butler and Herro both missed a ton of games. And, you know, the more and more games that these guys play and they get comfortable and, you know, they kind of get back in the rhythm, they'll be better. I'm not saying the Heat are going to miss the playoffs. They'll probably be, a handful of games above 500 by the time the season is over. But I'm just saying, like, where do they go from here? Like, what's the plan? What's the point of what they're doing? Because, Jimmy's not getting any younger, and he's a guy that's had injury issues in the past and might not be the most durable player of all time. And I don't know. I've hit this point where, like, I've tried to make excuses for the Heat all season long, and then after watching them with their full complement of players here for, a few games, it's just not the same. And not that I would expect it to be, but there's just something missing here. And I think that the Heat are in at least a little bit of trouble. Now, is it possible that they start, hitting some shots and Butler starts playing better? Bam continues to be really good. Hero and Duncan Robinson are making some shots, and the complimentary guys, help them out? Absolutely. But the problem is the complimentary guys just aren't as good. Dragic hasn't been as good this year. And the defensive guys they're supposed to be counting on, in place of someone like Jake Crowder. Mo Harkless has played 2 games. Avery Bradley's out there, I guess, and Iggy's washed. Like, Andre Iguodala, that trade that they made, I don't really think that it, that specific part of acquiring Iguodala, which was like the big headliner thing, I don't really think it did anything for them. Like, anytime I watch Iggy play, I'm thinking, I mean, he's out there, sure, but like, what is he doing that's, making me all excited about this move that they made? And maybe it's just because I still, kind of believe in Justice Winslow in Memphis there a little bit, but I don't know. At the end of the day, man, like, it's the Heat, and I probably shouldn't be doubting them because it's Spoelstra, it's Pat Riley, and it's one of the most prestigious franchises in the league, and it's a team that continues to find a way to get it done, year after year. Even if they have an off year, they come back the following year stronger, and they still have the possibilities of 2021 free agency. But them, along with Dallas, are teams that we thought had this bright future. Miami coming off this finals run, and Dallas has Luka, and I'm thinking, okay, 2021 free agency is going to be a big, difference maker for them, and then they're going to move forward from there and be really, really good. And for both of them, I'm questioning that. And then obviously specifically for this video, it's all about the Heat. I don't know what you guys think about Miami as you're watching them now. Of course, they need to get their players back, and that's why it's so difficult to evaluate teams as a whole right now because of how strange this season is. Even if a team has a really good record, maybe they just happen to be playing against teams that are just decimated by various protocols or whatever the case may be. So, we'll have to continue to keep an eye on this team. I personally am in the camp that, they're in a bit of trouble right now, and that they might just not have it this year. And, I'll keep an eye on them, and I'll see kind of where it goes from here. But anytime that you're losing to the Wizards and they don't even have Russ on the floor, and your offense, looks a little bit suspect, I'm going to have some questions and concerns, and that's just where I'm at right now with Miami. I'm not saying the sky is falling. I'm not saying that they're never going to be good again. I'm just saying I expected more, and when I watch them now with their full complement of players, I'm not impressed. That's all, and I think that's fair. But yeah, that's going to be the end of the first video today, and I thank you all very much for watching. Once again, my name is Tucker. If you missed any of my previous videos, then be sure to check out the boxes on screen. As I said in the beginning, you can sub to the channel, like the video, check out the various socials at the bottom of the screen as well. With all those things said, I hope you guys have an awesome rest of your day, and I will see you all next time.